Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. We got quite an interesting themed video today, viewer requested, looking at discussions regarding the Texas boys who supposedly attended the party which Noah did. But what significance? How could they link to Noah's death? Were they present at the same time? Or like when Noah was supposedly walking off for the final time, were any paths crossed? Did what Caden Pressey see at any point link on with the Texas boys? That's what we're trying to get into discussion today. There is a new post on Facebook which is quite long and somewhat deep. I'm going to read, present to you because not everybody has access to it. I'm going to try and understand it, analyse it on the spot, and maybe check the comment section out. And if necessary, I can apply it to the maps. And if possible in the future, we can do a follow-up video as well. It's important to cover this area and topic because it's another section group of individuals, whether they be strangers or not to Noah Presgrove, they're most definitely strangers to us. And you've got to put it into perspective that there might be some people within the case that know exactly who these Texas boys and other groups are, but they've chosen not to reveal it publicly because they may feel it's not relevant to the case, or someone or something may be covering things. But innocent or not, it's just good to have an overall perspective of who was present at the time and even beforehand. It just makes sense. And I'm sure when the case has been handled, if true interviews were done and all were interviewed, because I'm not too sure, to be honest. It's like when it came to Kathy Bingham, she only interviewed like 6 party goers, and there was about 40 in total. Yeah, a long way to go. If they were ever all interviewed, who knows? But it would make sense. Maybe the exception would be those that attended on a Friday or Saturday and did not return back after that point. Apologies if there was a slight little jump cut then as well, because my face was bleeding slightly there. So if it does it again, I'll have to do that. It's only because of YouTube and their guidelines, just a little scratch. But it's important to gather everything together, and whether it links or not to other alternative events at the time of Noah's death, leading up or post-death, we try and tie it in all together and, if needed, map analysis. So welcome to those that are watching right now in this live premiere. Share your thoughts and opinions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. Let me know your thoughts. Feel free to drop a comment down below under this video once you've finished watching it to let me know what you think. If you got any questions and additional, whether you agree or disagree. There'll be a pinned message as well with additional links if you do want to support this channel. Shout out to those that did support the channel with the super chats, super stickers last night. It was very good of people to do that. And if you are interested in recent coverage, such as last night's video, a very, very important one you don't want to miss out, well, top right corner of the screen where the eye symbol is, you'll be able to find it right there. So whilst we lock on in right now, the order of how we'll do things is we go straight to the Facebook post, read through, analyse, look at some comments, and then add on if necessary. So let's begin. This post can be located on the Noah Presgrove Army page 23 hours ago by an individual called Tracy Gann. And let's just start reading. They say, okay, I have some things I'd like to discuss that over the last couple of weeks I've been thinking about. The very first so-called rumour that I ever heard was about 1 to 2 weeks after Noah's death. I had asked a good friend of mine who had a senior in DHS, I don't know what that means, who had actually wrestled against Noah in previous years, if his son had heard anything going around DHS about what might have happened to Noah. He told me his son said the rumour was that Avery Combs had called some of her friends from Texas to come teach Noah a lesson by kicking his butt, also known as ass. But unfortunately, somehow Noah got killed. So it went wrong. Now, before we go any further, why would something like this even happen? Why would someone like Avery even consider that? And has Avery reacted the same way with past occasions, previous encounters with other individuals? You think Avery could be a little bit more lenient towards Noah with knowing one another and having a bit of a connection compared to Avery, who may come across as a stranger? Depends how you look at it. But what would the motive be at the party for Avery to call some of her extended friends elsewhere who may be of an older age from Texas? Well, supposedly Noah Presgrove called Avery a fat beeb in front of other people. So quite rude, insulting, and maybe embarrassing for Avery Combs. Could have hurt her, frustrated her. She didn't like the way being treated that way or being stood up, shown up in front of other people. And with it being her birthday as well, it's like, excuse me. And then possibly the next part of Avery, I don't know, working it out or assuming that maybe Noah has been close to Logan, so Avery feels like a third wheel and being disrespected even more by Noah, so wants to get a little bit of revenge, possibly. But why would Avery have to go out of her way to contact other people who weren't even coming down to the party in the first place? Why couldn't Avery tell Jack or tell someone who was present at the party that could give Noah a little slap on the face? I don't know, it's just because if these people are close with one another, why would Avery have to resort to an extended person who wasn't even planning on coming down in the first place, I'm guessing? Why didn't Avery just reach out to another partygoer who's already present? I mean, the outcome could have gone the same way, which would be bad, but, this is classified as rumours, but the mindset and mentality of contacting someone further afar when there's people already present on site, is that because Avery doesn't trust people on site? Or she feels those that are on site won't get the job done properly because they'll be too biased and caring towards Noah Presgrove? I wonder. So let me know your thoughts down below. This person then says, now, I've tried to look through all the videos and pictures I've been able to see, and although I don't know what the Texas boys look like, I mean, not to generalize too much, but to an extent. Once again, it doesn't apply always, but if you think of like a Texas individual, they might be wearing jeans, might have a certain type of belt, buckle. Would it be a shirt or a t-shirt? One of those buttoned up ones with maybe patterns on and maybe a cowboy hat? Something along the lines of that. Like when you got Travis Monson, how his attire was and whatnot. Doesn't apply to everyone, of course. Just wanted to throw it out there as a suggestion. All the footage I have seen is with the same group of friends each night. For most part of it, yeah. But there were some unknown individuals in the background, right? I know there was a couple of young men that were shown in a video and no one knew who they was, but had asked if there was one of the Texas boys, and I believe that answer came back as no, they were not the Texas boys. Whether the Texas boys or not, if they're mystery party goers, they need to be looked into and, I guess, identified. So, out of all the footage that was taken throughout a couple of days and nights, not one has the Texas boys in any of the videos or photos. Yeah, you could say it's a little bit odd, but then again, is it selective that there is footage and photos from the Texas boys' point of view? It's just not been included, I wonder. And when they say Texas boys, does that basically mean all the friends of Avery from Texas were males and only males? There was no Texas girls. Is that the case? Now, this person continues to say, that's a little strange considering most everyone else was shown within all the footage. So at first, we was all led to believe that those boys from Texas came to the party on Sunday and had left to go home way before 2 a.m. Monday morning. Now we find out that they didn't leave before 2 a.m, but instead they went with Carter Combs and Avery Combs sometime after 3:41 a.m. to look for Noah. Really? I know we looked at some post, or maybe by Sarah Long, giving a certain time stamp of, maybe around 3:41 or so, they all went out looking for Noah, but didn't yield any success. But I don't remember a mention of Texas boys tagging along with Carter and Avery. That's interesting. But what I want to add in, like where this person says, we were originally led to believe that the Texas boys came to the party on Sunday and then left early on Monday. You know what the problem is with that? Caden Pressey said in his private interview, the police one, 30 to 40 partygoers, which I guess involved the Texas boys, attended on the Friday and the Saturday. Not Sunday, not Monday. So what the hell is that all about? But then again, it could be a slight contradiction by Caden Pressey depending on the outlook of certain named individuals. Is Colton Newton a Texas boy? I don't think so. Is Travis Monson a Texas boy? Well, as for one's attire, yes. Are they truly from Texas? I don't know. JJ Bump Ass? Is he from Texas? I know they say everything is bigger in Texas. Does that mean bigger asses? I don't know. But for Caden Pressey to mention those names with the exception of JJ, because that name wasn't mentioned by Caden, just a vague description of a skinny guy tagging along with Colton and Travis returning back to the party either Sunday night or going into Monday morning. Returning back implies that they were there earlier or the day before. Does that involve the Texas boys? And if it is the day before, it's closer to the Friday or the Saturday, thus meaning it ties in line with Caden's private interview that the Texas boys came on down Friday and Saturday, 30 to 40 present. And then by Sunday, it was just close friends only. Obviously, when you look at Caden's public interview, Partners in True Crime, a month later after the private recorded one, Caden stated it was Sunday night when the party heated up and when more people came on down. Yeah, it doesn't add up, does it? But moving on. This person says, supposedly after some time looking for Noah and not being able to find him, they decide to leave. I'd say sometime between, say, 4:30 to 4:35 or 5 in the morning. Not for sure on this time, but I'm looking at maybe they looked for Noah for at least 30 minutes or so. Sarah Long supposedly stated 30 minutes to an hour long, if I'm correct in remembering. One thing I don't understand is, why would they not have just gone back into the house and took a 3 to 4 hour nap before driving to their homes in Texas? They didn't do that, so instead they left, let's say, between 4 to 5 a.m. and Noah was still missing. I'm sorry, but I absolutely cannot shake the fact that one of the first original rumours I heard here in Duncan was these boys were specifically called and invited to this party to teach Noah a lesson. They apparently was not at the party any other night, but they were present the night Noah lost his life. Noah did not die nighttime. Noah died Monday morning onwards, a.m. It just all seems so strange that at first we were told that yes, the boys from Texas came to the party but had left way before anything happened to Noah. Instead, now we're finding out that not only was they still present at the party, but they also took the girls out to look for Noah after he went missing, and then they get back to the house and just load up and leave to travel back to Texas. Does this not sound strange to anyone but me? You know what I'd like to know is why did, let's just word it again. Not only was they still present at the party, but the Texas boys took the girls as passengers to look for Noah. Why did the Texas boys have to do taxi service for the girls when supposedly the girls had their own vehicles at the house? And if not that, there was at least Jack Newton that had that Ford Ranger, you know, closer friends. Why weren't the closer friends giving the girls a lift about or driving around? Why did Texas boys of all people have to do it instead? That doesn't quite make any sense. And to supposedly know that, oh, it was actually later on when the Texas boys actually left and went home. Well, it depends how you look at it, because one thing that's not been included here by this person's comment and statement is what Stevie Howard said at some point in the past when it came to the CCTV cameras not working. Oh, but they just so happened to work and record the Texas boys leaving. And at what time? I can't remember. It might have not even been mentioned, but what was stated by Stevie Howard, from what I remember, is there was video footage, CCTV camera of the Texas boys leaving the party house shortly after Noah left. That would be 3:30. Just want to add a little detail there. Moving on. We have all heard that the Texas Rangers got involved due to the fact these kids were in Oklahoma at this party, but since they lived in Texas, they were questioned by the Texas Rangers and were supposedly released as a suspect at this time. I don't know, but what I do know is within 1 to 2 weeks after Noah's tragic ending, there's a rumor going around the school that these Texas boys were called upon to teach Noah a lesson. Noah was begged to come back to the party for Sunday night by Jack Newton, supposedly. So that would mean Jack is involved in it as well, basing it off that theory. We'll get to that on the maps shortly, I think. Noah obviously felt a certain way if he had to ask someone if they would have his back if anything happened. Did he actually say that? Do we have proof and evidence of Noah saying that? Noah wanted to go back home, yet no one gave him a ride. If no one wanted to give him a ride, are you saying that they're all in on it then? Oh boy. Did these things all happen where no one was going to help Noah out a lot earlier in the night because they all knew the Texas boys were going to just teach Noah a lesson, and most of them were in agreement that maybe Noah needed to be taught a lesson? Oh, so you think that Caden Pressey went along with it as well? And then things took a horrible turn and they accidentally killed him instead of just teaching him a lesson. Instead of getting some people to cover such a distance to come on down to then teach Noah a lesson, why couldn't Avery just reach out to one of the bloody partygoers already on site to say, hey, can you go and get Noah and slap him across the face on behalf of me? Even that's possible. Oh, well, we best not do that. Well, that's probably not a good idea. It didn't stop Brylan Sweat from slapping Noah. Even when Brylan was a little bit cautious and Noah was asking for it, Brylan slapped Noah. Hey, what about Saturday when Shandy, the blonde girl, ended up slapping Noah? Did Noah resist, retaliate? No. Did Shandy have any fear? No, because we're joking, messing about. But if any of the party guys were nervous, scared of confronting Noah Presgrove, let's put it that way, then why couldn't Avery teach Noah a lesson herself? Okay? She's got a bit of an attitude. She gets a bit frustrated. You've seen her questionable TikToks and attitude there. Then why didn't she F with Noah, but not in that way? Because supposedly Avery said she's got a lot of guys or so from the past or over time who she might come back with an F with. What does that mean? Physically, mentally, verbally? Who knows? There was like a post or a photo of her holding a Glock or a firearm. Was that trying to act hard? I don't know. But if they're able to stand on their own 2 feet, stand their ground, then why didn't she do it herself directly towards Noah? Why does she need somebody else to do the dirty work? Why? Is it because she's afraid of Noah? Is it because she's afraid that if she was to try and slap Noah, Noah would be able to dodge it or do something? Because at the end of the day, if it was a guy and a guy, yeah, you could understand why one would be cautious. They don't want to mess with Noah because it could get slammed to the ground or they could get embarrassed. But if it's a girl, the way it goes nowadays, or how it has been for a long time, it's okay for a female to slap a male. As soon as the male slaps back in self-defense, oh, naughty, naughty, naughty. So depending on who the individual is and how much self-control they may have and their perceptions and outlook of individuals and of different genders and roles, if Avery wanted somebody to teach Noah a lesson, just get another party-goer female to come along and slap Noah and do something. It would be more efficient. What's the point going out of your way to get someone to come on down and cover so much miles in distance just to teach Noah a lesson? Those supposed Texas boys must be very loyal to Avery. And what makes it even more weirder, based off this theory and concept, is what? A group of Texas boys only came on down by the request of Avery just to teach Noah a lesson, but Avery didn't feel the need to invite him down in the first place, considering that they're friends and it's her birthday. Normally you might celebrate your birthday with friends, but she thought, no, I'm not. But I'll use them later for something else. It just doesn't seem to quite add up, in my opinion. But, you know, it's just like a concept and a rumour, this. Just take it in mind. Let's just return back. Texas boy's going to teach Noah a lesson, an agreement. I don't know why, but I can't get past the thought that the Texas boy had more of a hand in Noah's death than what everyone else thinks. I know there's been a lot of lies and he said, she said theories that we have had to sort through, but I think we might be overlooking a very real possibility. I mean, the concept of a theory of he fucking hell, can't talk. He said, she said, theories. No. He said, she said, rumours, what supposedly happened. A theory is an idea within one's mind, more so from the outsider's perspective looking in. And that's demonstrated heavily on my channel. So you've got to be careful with the language there. So this person thinks it could be a very real possibility. Maybe one of the first rumours that was going around DHS was not a rumour, but instead this is what happened because there should be no reason to lie about what they left to go back to Texas, as unless some of the partygoers knew they were involved and were trying to divert the attention off of them by saying they had left way before anything happened to Noah. I mean, at the end of the day, if it is any Texas boys, the fact that others have taken the supposed flank, supposedly, like Jack Newton, maybe Isaac Rojas to an extent, Avery Carter, taking all that flank, supposedly being threatened, physically attacked, property damaged, harassed online, all kinds of damage caused psychologically to these party goers. But they're willing to take all that when they, or some may know, it was the Texas boys supposedly responsible. Would they stand for that? Would they be like, yeah, I'm going to keep on taking this abuse and all this to protect some Texas boys? Really? What are the comments? And we're just looking at the relevant ones as it stands, just so we don't get too deep. Another major question is, why did Caden Pressey not say he saw the Texas boys when he woke up with his mom's phone call, where he said they were all playing beer pong? Well, Caden Pressey only mentioned that it was Jasmine Milan, Noah Presgrove, and Jack Newton near the beer pong table. As for everybody else, he was quite vague about the descriptions of people being awake or up. Caden Pressey did make reference to 3 guys returning back to the house Sunday night or Monday morning to get alcohol. And he mentioned the name Travis Monson, Colton, Newton, and a skinny person. Out of those 3 guys, how many are Texas boys? And furthermore, whilst we may not know the true names of these individuals, Caden Pressey has mentioned Texas boys in the Partners in True Crime podcast interview. But in terms of the actual names, Caden didn't really know them. He said, I think there was a guy called Pepe and something else, Nocona Texas boys and this and that. It was very, very vague. If Caden Pressey is a stranger to these Texas boys, then Caden wouldn't be able to reiterate the names, would he? But he has acknowledged there was Texas boys, and that was in the public interview. Okay. And as for the time of when he was woken up and he was looking around him, were the Texas boys in the same room as him? Yes or no? I don't know. Maybe they were elsewhere. Brandy, he did say that there was some. He didn't recognise them. Exactly, there we go. But the other end of the beer pong was, really? I don't remember that little part. Anyway. If Avery Combs invited them, she should know who they are. If Avery Combs or Carter Combs went out looking for Noah with them, then Avery Combs, Carter Combs must have been comfortable enough to be taken away from the party, and Jack Newton not getting mad about Carter Combs leaving with these guys. If the CCTV was working when they drove off, they should have a plate or description. That's if the CCTV was working at the relevant time. Jack Newton stated in Partners in True Crime interview he himself moved to Texas. Right, can I just ask a question? What qualifies someone as a Texas boy or a Texas girl? Is it an individual that's been born there and lives there? Or can it just apply to someone that moves to that place? They weren't brought up, they weren't born in Texas, but they've moved and now live in Texas. Are they considered a Texas boy? How would you define it? Let me know down below. And, whilst we've heard the figure, 40 party goers present at some point at the house. Out of the 40 people present, how many were Texas boys? Okay. What do we have here? Tammy, Warlike Raf, wants to see this post, but I don't know how to get it from Facebook to YouTube. If you know how, you may want to share it. Well, it's all under control, Tammy, because I'm here right now. But for a future reference, it's very easy to share post onto YouTube. All you do is you make sure that you're on like a desktop, laptop, computer. You go onto Facebook as usual. you go onto a particular post, and hopefully if it works with the URL link, you just copy and paste it onto YouTube. The only possible roadblock would be if YouTube auto-detects it as spam and removes the comment out of my control. But hopefully, it tends to be hit and miss at times, because sometimes it's worked for people and other times it hasn't. Thanks for correcting me. I guess I missed the part of the interview. Yep. Right. What else? The names are there if you look enough. I fully believe Ellie knows they were involved. If Rita says the names are there, can you actually provide them as bullet points, fam? What kind of beating would attribute to the severity of Noah's injuries with no pattern marks? The other thing what you'd have to ask yourself is, if it was just a beating gone wrong, quite an extensive one, and depending the length of time it goes on for, it does start making you question it. It's just like how, if something was an accident, was it really? If someone gets shot in the head once, could be an accidental discharge of a firearm. If somebody's shot in the skull multiple times and there's a level of precision, you could think, well, maybe it's not an accident, it was actually intended. So does that. Justin Roy, exactly. I too have talked to several kids from the party either Saturday or Sunday, and they all, except one, said they think Noah was murdered or definitely foul play. Even friends of friends have said that, yet we are supposed to think differently. So with what Justin Roy says here, who did he talk to and who believed and still does that it's foul play and Noah was murdered? How many? How many out of the 40 party goers believe it's murder? Justin Roy then says, I personally feel all of this was planned out and of course has changed over time. They pushed the hit and run very hard, then hit and run with a semi, then Texas boys. Next, I'm sure it will be just as bad as an accident gone wrong. It's hard for me to believe the bad accident gone wrong because of everything that has happened last year. They all had several chances to do the right thing and chose not to. There's got to be more here. This is my opinion, not fact, but I do believe Noah was met with foul play. I believe there was a cover-up, but it's still going on. It's very sinister, and a lot of bad decisions were made. They all have had several interviews to do the right thing and tell the truth. As far as I'm concerned, the only victim here is Noah, and I believe everyone after 2 a.m. knows what happened to him. A lot of us have been here for a while, have heard all the rumours, speculation. There's always some truth in those. In my opinion, Noah never walked off. So, if Justin Roy believes that Noah Presgrove never walked off, how did he end up outside? How did he end up outside of the party house? Did he get dragged outside by someone? Tammy, Warlight Ref is wanting a link. I am here, it's fine. He is wanting to see my actual post, or what did he say? No, it's fine. Okay. What else do we have? Bingo. Oh, we got bingo again. The only Texas person I've seen in videos was the blonde girl who was playing a slap game with Noah Saturday. Shandy. Is Shandy a Texas person? But that'd be a Texas girl, not a Texas boy, Sam. That's what I mean, like, when other people refer to the Texas boys, are they literally referring to only males, I'm guessing. Shannon, Texas boys were out there Saturday and Sunday. Oh, really? Is that so? Because Caden Pressey said it was only Sunday when the Texas boys showed up. And then a month before the Partners in True Crime interview, the private one with police, Caden Pressey stated it was Friday and Saturday. So we don't even know what bloody day exactly the Texas boys arrived on. Oh my God. You know, what next? We're going to be trying to figure out, oh, did a gorilla show up at the party dressed up in a suit, bow and tie, holding a banana? Oh my God, was it a gorilla or was it a mouse? Was it a kangaroo or a camel, or was it a polar bear or a penguin which has escaped from asylum? I don't even know, man. It's getting real cold here. It shouldn't be that hard, right? If you see a Lamborghini and then you see a pedal bike, the two separate things, it's not that difficult. I mean, what is going on here? Oh my goodness. Anyway, what else do you have? She was only there on Saturday. Oh, the girl in pink. Shandy, if that's how you say the name. I've seen them and their names. They've been ruled out, which is why Texas Rangers are no longer investigating. Of course, they want to put blame on them because that's what they do, is direct it away from them and foul play. Right, direct it elsewhere. So Shannon Sullivan saying that those such as Avery, Carter, Jack and some others are directing blame towards Texas boys. Well, if that's so, then does this reduce the likelihood of any Texas boys being called on in to teach Noah a lesson then, or return back later? Maybe he was body slammed during a fight that caused the fractured ribs and shoulder blades. I believe his internal injuries were from possibly being ran over by side after they realised he was deceased and staged a hit and run. Depends how you look at it. The vehicle, in my opinion, that BBC and others are referring to is an all-terrain vehicle. Big question is, which all-terrain vehicle? There was a mud truck, Ford Ranger, out there as well during the weekend, so it's a possibility that it was used to run him over. End of the day, someone from that party knows exactly what happened. Just say the Texas boys were involved, why not speak up? Vital information. Wasn't the Texas boys cleared way back in the beginning before the autopsy was released, which showed the 10+ life-threatening injuries? Makes me wonder if the Texas Rangers would investigate it differently, now knowing it was not a hit and run. But, you know, the way you word it, now knowing it was not a hit and run, I mean, in terms of a murder situation, well, the official autopsy doesn't acknowledge it that way, only that the cause of death is unknown. I'm thinking the beating that Noah took came from grown men and they were just acting like it was Texas voice to throw it off and that it was premeditated. So may have been pointing out the discrepancies for a while now. We've got Winter Kibidukes. I probably said that wrong. I think Winter said they wanted to reach out. Well, I reached out in response. I don't know if you saw it elsewhere. But Winter says, teach him a lesson about what exactly, and in my opinion, no lesson equals that at all, to what was done to Noah. This whole situation is ridiculous, makes me upset. Okay. Oh, spazzing out, great. Amy says, was Avery mad because Noah Presgrove slept on the floor with a friend, Logan, Jernigan, Saturday night? Maybe. Kenny Presley had said, Avery Combs said, if y'all do anything, she would kill Noah. Not kill them, but kill Noah directly. And that wasn't the only time she referenced that point. Or because he supposedly called her a fat, nasty bitch. Definitely plausible motives to teach someone a lesson. It all comes down to the tolerance levels of people. Let's just briefly head on to the maps. So here we are, and once again, interestingly, the user interface has changed. Don't know if you're familiar with it right now, but that massive big black box has gone. You know, the bottom left of the screen. It's now really small. That's a lot better. It means you can fit more on screen and get a better view. So I'm not complaining. I don't know what the hell Google Earth has done. They've been very dodgy over time. I think Google Earth are on the naughty list this Christmas for how they behave, with how they make changes and updates. And it makes it worse, you know, for the viewer experience. But right now, they've actually done something right. So that's a step in the right direction. How long will it last? I don't know. But one thing that is clear, or more clearer, is we're doing it bare this time. We're going raw. Kind of like how if I had no shirts remaining because Sharon decided to mysteriously rip them all up, it's like we've got no markers, we've got no beacons, no pointers. You just see what you get and what's on shot now. And that's this place here. Because what we need to focus in on is trying to make sense of Texas boys coming on down. And really, you look back to not that Noah's to blame, but if you think of the first mistake made, not that it's Noah's fault, is Noah deciding to return back to the party. Now, if only we had the phone call or the text message, what did it sound like? Did Noah Presgrove still have it on his phone? You know, well, maybe it was a missed call or there was a voice call, but maybe Noah would have answered it immediately and it might not save. But if we just had a call log, Sunday. Now, Dusty Butler, and yes, I know I'm reiterating it, but I'm consistent with what I can remember and what has been stated at a point in time. Whether it still applies now or not, well, people can correct it in the comment section. But I remember Facebook in the past, Dusty Butler referenced around 5 p.m. Sunday, 5 p.m. is when Jack Newton called Noah to come on down. Kind of like persuaded him, begged, pleaded. To measure that, we'd need to know the phone call for the timestamp, the call log, the timing of it, so we know that for certain. But then furthermore, if you could actually hear someone like Jack on the end of the call saying, Noah, please come on down. Is it begging? Is it a whiny little voice? Is it a calm tone? Is it an aggressive voice? What does it sound like? Was the persuasive language used in order to get Noah to come on down? Did Noah even want to come on down, or was he just persuaded to try and have a good time? That's what you got to work out. The mileage, the distance. Yes, Noah did get a ride down, but this is the thing. There are people out there stating that, whether it be Noah or more so Mikey, got a lift down to the party house on Sunday by the girls or someone else. But then the opposition, well, not opposition, but some other groups say, with a level of confidence, that it was Gage Jessen, a guy, that picked Noah and Mikey up and dropped them down at the party on the Sunday. And when it came to Mikey coming down on the Sunday was the first time of him arriving at the party. He did not attend days before. So does that as well? That's how it's gone about in the online community. So you get Noah, comes on down, driven down the highway. As soon as he's dropped off at the party house, the realization is, how the hell do you get back? Maybe Noah wasn't exactly thinking that at the time, but that's what you'd be going through your mind, wouldn't it? At some point, how do I get back home? I was dependent, relying on someone to get me here. Now I need to rely on them or somebody else to get me back to where I need to be. And for all the partygoers to reject Noah and say, no, we can't take you home, we don't want to take you home, what was the general theme and consensus? Oh, because of alcohol? Because of drinking? Now, I can't remember which way round it was worded, right? I know Brooke Bounce-Carter made a reference about partygoers, I believe, coming down. Whether they, I don't know if it was that they didn't intend to stick around, so it had an impact on drinking, or they did intend on sticking around, hence why they may have drunk more. I can't remember which way round Brooke was wording it, but, you know, people that live there, there's not as many responsibilities or consequences if you drink more. You drink more, okay, you might not feel great, but you don't have to drive home, you don't have to walk away, you just sit back, you live where you are, so it's all okay. People that come on down and cover distance, they have then the responsibility to try and get back home. If you're in a town or a village or a small community, wherever that may be, whatever country you're in, and you're within walking distance of where you live, yeah, you probably could walk to a pub, you could walk to a restaurant bar, get pissed by yourself, or more so with other people and friends. You can still be in a vulnerable place and situation, but maybe if there's at least one friend, one designated escort. But yeah, am I saying that I'm an escort? Oh, let's not go there, man. Don't get any ideas, people watching in the background. No, I'm not an escort. No, I'm not a bodyguard. Well, actually, technically, I was a bodyguard at one point in high school, which was a bit random when it came to some psychopath female when a male friend needed me to cover their back. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but that's what happened. But if you've got at least one friend who may be somewhat responsible or may not drink, it's a godsend for other people. And it just so happens that Warlight Raf does not drink alcohol for most part of it. Might test a little bit, but that's it. Warlight Raf does not get drunk and has never got drunk before. If anyone else does, well, at least there's always one person that has it under control, meaning, and just like in a situation like with the Riley Strain case, okay, Riley drunk, was told to leave. Did any of his friends follow him after? No. Well, supposedly one did, but Riley said, no, I'll go home myself. But still, someone should have followed him back, you know, a friend, to make sure he got back safely. Didn't happen, so he was vulnerable. He was in a vulnerable place, by himself, one thing leading to another, and then ended up dying somehow. That can happen in other situations, and even if it doesn't result in death, if it comes to maybe the opposite gender, and it's dark, it's night, and you're just simply trying to get back, and there might be some dodgy people lurking about in the darkness, things can happen there as well. It shouldn't be that way, but it has happened at times. But if you've got at least a responsible person about that can observe the area and maybe make sure it's safe, once again, not that you should have to, but there's no harm, then anyone that is drunk who has gone out of their way to cover some kind of distance on foot via some kind of vehicle transportation, well, they should be able to get back more safely. As for Noah Presgrove, 42 miles distance between the party house and where he lived at the time. 42 miles of driving will take a bit of time to get from point A to point B. At a time of when drunk, it's just not a good idea. Noah Presgrove managed the Saturday and the Sunday, but that's only because he slept at the party house Saturday night to sober up into the next day, get some food in one system, and be okay. But if you're looking at Sunday going into Monday, no chance to sober up properly, but Noah wanting to leave earlier, despite not being at the party that long from when coming on down on the Sunday. It's like Noah didn't want to be there that much, but just came on down for the sake of it because Jack wanted him to. Maybe, did Noah want to please Jack in some way? I don't mean that out of context, but does anyone think like that? To say that, or for some people to suggest that, oh yeah, all the other party goers didn't give Noah a lift back because they all knew that Noah was going to be taught a lesson by some strangers coming on down a bit later. So they had to ensure that Noah was first at the party. So yeah, get Jack to call on in and get Noah to come on down, play the violin, do whatever to get Noah here. Noah may have been awkward and said, oh, I don't really want to. My vehicle's not quite working properly, got an oil leak. And then Jack's like, oh, God, what do I do? What do I do? We'll get Gage, we'll get someone else, we'll get a taxi service, we'll get anyone, anything possible to get Noah down to the house. Sounds very desperate, doesn't it? It's like, Noah is the most popular one and everybody at the house really wants him to come on down so then we can lock him down so he can't escape, and then we'll just bide the time, keep him here for as long as possible up until some Texas boys come on down and then finally beat Noah up. It just sounds very far and extensive, that. A bit hard to believe. The act of being attacked or beaten up is still a possibility, but the concept of more than one person not being directly involved but possibly being aware of potential danger and just allowing it and being so casual about it, I don't know, it seems weird. Because honestly, if someone was to suggest that, you know, those that denied Noah a lift back home is because they were in on it to an extent and knew what was going to happen next with Noah, then why would Caden Pressey be along the lines of that if Caden Pressey was around at the time aware that his cousin was there, 15-year-old girl, and if there's going to be any violence or trouble, why would Caden, you know, go along with that? Surely there'd be some kind of protesting or something. So that's why I feel like it's hard to believe that. But, and it doesn't necessarily apply to Texas boys. Still, we don't have the timestamps. But when Caden Pressey says Sunday night or Monday morning, no time actually given, Caden was woken up by 3 guys known as Travis Monson, the one that looks like Jeffrey Dahmer, lookalike from Wish.com. If you look at some photos in the past, looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. Then you've got Colton Newton with the, was it curly or slightly curly ginger hair of some sort? And then a skinny guy, whoever that is. Is the skinny guy JJ Bump Ass or somebody else? Who knows? Those 3 guys came on down, returned back as worded by Caden to get some alcohol. Were they drunk at the time or were they about to get drunk? And when they were coming on down, did they cross paths with Noah? Or was it when they may have been leaving the house with the alcohol, they crossed paths with Noah? I know Justin Roy says Noah never walked off. What does Justin Roy mean by that? Noah never left the party house? Or that Noah did walk outside of the house, but he did not walk away from the property? We need to clarify that. Because if Noah Presgrove remained inside of the house, for Noah to end up at the highway, something would have had to have dragged him out or escorted him outside of the house. And we've not heard any mentions of that or anybody witnessing something like that event taking place. If you remember, my original theory or concept was, at some point round 3:30, whether it's before or during the argument, the final one with Jack Newton, that explosive one, that when Noah was walking away, did he instantly turn left or did he go in a slightly different direction? And at some point, could anyone have followed him or ambushed Noah and then dragged him off somewhere? We never hear enough mention about the shed, the barn area. Could he have been dragged off this way? Got to take in mind, if anything like that was to happen, being dragged, and I don't mean dragged by a vehicle, and I don't mean dragged across the floor. I mean, you stood up, and then people put their hands on your shoulders or under your armpits and then drag you along the way. Basically, your shoes are dragged and scuffed against the ground. And if there is grass or some kind of grass present nearby, that's how the loose grass and debris could collect in the shoelaces of Noah's mismatched shoes, right? Obviously, on those conditions, it would mean that Noah Presgrove probably put the shoes on himself, even if it was the wrong pair. But for him to be a left and a right shoe, Noah was conscious enough possibly to put on the correct one, so it wasn't two lefts or two rights. I know other people feel that Noah didn't put the shoes on himself, someone else did, but what's the point of that? Oh, to stage a hit and run. Well, if that's the case, why did they keep both shoes on then? Oh, it's because Jack Newton decided to think ahead, but too late onwards in parts into come and say, no, Noah was only wearing one shoe at the highway, the other shoe, no mention. Well, I think the other shoe was nearby. What? May link more to a potential hit and run now when the shoes go flying, but that's not how they were originally when Noah was found. They were on Noah's body. So if someone's counterpoint was, well, the shoes that were on Noah mismatched weren't put on by Noah himself, but by somebody else. So you're saying that Noah died barefoot, but then others went back to the party house to grab some shoes, any shoes they could find, to then put on Noah's body. Was there a possibility that if that's the case, that they decided to use one of Caden Press's shoes in hopes that it would link onto Caden, so he would be questioned instead? Was there a form of manipulation there? Or was it just find any shoe you can and put it on Noah's body? Because either way, a little bit reckless. And even if it links to Noah putting on the wrong shoe, a little bit reckless. But if you're not quite thinking, then maybe you can put the wrong shoe on. But if the two drastically different shoes, one's a Hey Dude and another one's an Adidas, they're going to stand out differently, aren't they? And even though they might be the same size, was it like size 12 or something, the fit is going to be maybe a little bit different. Now, I think both are laced, but still, you would notice the difference unless Noah genuinely couldn't find his shoe at the time, so he had to make do with somebody else's. Look at it this way. If Noah Presgrove was supposedly willing enough to walk into the bedroom of Carter Combs and Jack Newton, supposedly, to get a hold of the side-by-side keys to borrow them, and others could see it as steal, well, then maybe Noah did the same with Caden Press's shoe. I can't find my own. I've only got one, so I'll just borrow one of Caden's instead, and then I'll return it back afterwards. I mean, whilst we've heard the references, it's normal for Noah to wander off, to cool down, especially when he's drunk. Oh, it's normal for Noah to flirt with girls, especially when he's drunk alcohol. Right. Has there ever been a time in the past where it's been normal, where it's occurred in the past where Noah has put on mismatched shoes to go out on a walk, but because he returned back safely, there was no further questioning? I wonder. Because it won't just be Noah's shoe or shoes which have been mismatched. Other clothing, not mismatched, but lost or muddled up at the party. Obviously, the more people at the party and more crowded it could be, and range of different clothing, you could get mixed up. More so to get mixed up with other people's clothing if it's the same exact brand or style or type. If they're vastly different and the styles clash and it's obvious, then you should be more aware that, yeah, that's not your underpants, that's not your bra, excuse me, why are you even wearing a bra? You're a male. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a 47-inch chest, don't be so jealous. No, but in all seriousness, certain clothing you won't get mixed up with if it's that obvious that it's not yours, or, you know, depending on the gender as well, as the style of clothing, okay? Oh, you got some silky laced material of some sort. Well, I don't think Noah Presgrove is going to be accidentally picking that up. I mean, not that material would have been present at the party anyway, but you get what I'm saying? Something like shoes, if Noah had Adidas ones and somebody else had Adidas shoes and they were the same colour, it might be understandable you could get mixed up. But if you've got a Hey Dude shoe and an Adidas one, how do you get that? Why do you do that? Unless Noah wasn't quite thinking or he didn't care. He needed shoes to get out. But that's the other thing. If Noah Presgrove wandered off a day before at the party or earlier on at the party, did he wear shoes when walking off to cool down or not? If he wore shoes, then maybe the final time he walked off, the same thing there. But if he didn't wear shoes previous times, then on this final occasion, why would he wear shoes to go outside of the party house and beyond? Just like how if Noah Presgrove was okay sleeping on the floor Saturday, then why was it such a big deal Monday morning that he wanted to sleep in the bed all of a sudden? It's just these little patterns you got to compare and put into perspective. But whilst Noah Presgrove was present up to a certain time, at least up to 3:30, did it ever get too tense where Noah was panicking or was looking around and he was too conscious, and his eyes, his body language? Did anyone pick up on that, I wonder? Like tracking, monitoring time. So, and to be honest, if Texas Boys, a group, came on down, how many would that be? Would that total the amount as to who was at the party? If it said that there was 40 people present Sunday night, and there was, 10 or 15 people Monday morning, what percentage of Texas Boys were there at a time of where it mattered most? And wouldn't there have been a bit of a noise going on out and about? Take in mind that today's video and what we've looked at is a supposed rumour, which isn't good enough, right? But we just work with what we've got and put it into perspective. Do I personally believe that Texas Boys are responsible? Well, I do find it interesting that their name or general title gets brought up a lot over time, and that will be by members of the general public, as you would expect. But it's also been mentioned maybe by the odd party goers. Jack Newton was a bit of a cheerleader for pushing the suggestion that maybe the Texas Boys indirectly are responsible. And I'll just bring it up to you right now. So, besides the hit and run, besides being hit by a mirror of a semi-truck of some sort, which Jack was pushing in the past, even though Jack was also highlighting with others that there was no traffic on the road, so it doesn't quite make sense that Jack Newton suggested that maybe Noah Presgrove was with the Texas Boys in a vehicle driving along, and then somehow Noah fell out and the others carried on driving of some sort. Simply falling out of a vehicle, would it lead to all those injuries in one go? Okay, you fall out, your head hits the ground, scrape, bump, bang, roll. Would it cause the correct injuries? I wonder. And you know what else that's not mentioned enough? And to be honest, I don't know if I did do a video of it or not. I really hope I did. And if not, that's a great shame. The condition of Noah's shorts. That does get forgotten about. So, not only is this video important, but I think there's some little short clips that I might need to look into. So I'm thinking, besides the fact that it looks like I've been dragged through a bush backwards and forwards, not that, but I'm just thinking that, I don't know if it's considered a prediction, but whilst at the moment there might be a lot of people collectively talking about certain subjects and themes, and yes, I've listened to it and I've done my own coverage as well, which is obviously helpful, and shout out to everyone that watched last night's video. That was critical and important to make sense of it. I'm just thinking that I don't want to abandon or neglect my own personal videos on this case. So I might focus on that in the next upcoming video. And as for short clips, there are two very, very important short clips I need to create and upload and share with people. Most would have seen or heard it before, but I think a lot of people may have forgotten. To be honest, yes, because I just don't hear it mentioned enough. I seem to be the only one referencing it onwards. I don't want to go too deep now as for explanation, because I can just show it to you in video format later and if I can add captions on as well, hopefully it's got that reach. I mean, I've already done it with the Caden Pressey interview clip of where the timestamp is revealed at the side-by-side rollover, which a lot of people either didn't know or forgot about. I single-handedly brought light and focus back to it, and even at times when people said I was wrong, I was right, directly from what the horse's mouth originally said. So that's under control. But I think I need to do the same elsewhere. I need to shine light on other areas and other clips from interviews in the past, which are quite important, and see how people respond, react to it. And that will come with time. The only hard part is trying to find the timestamps of where it's mentioned, because these interviews out there can be quite long. So I'll have to try and look for it. I do believe I made a video about it, but I just don't know if it was all focused on a specific theme. If not, I'll just have to try and find it somehow. And maybe we can reach out to the odd person in the background who may have a better idea as to where it came up. But that aside, hopefully you found the video somewhat interesting. Feel free to hit the like button and share it if you want. That would be appreciated. And if you want, you can leave a comment down below. With that all being said, my name's Warlike Ref. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Good night for now.